to the Brofists to you all! I am wearing the most horrendous blue shirt in the house. It's awful. It's about 19 sizes too big. Look at this fucking thing. We ran out of clothes. How embarrassing is that? We literally ran out of clothes. Now we have to wash something. It might seem all very well and good getting your own house and doing all these kinds of things, but in reality, sometimes you just don't give a shit. And sometimes you don't give a shit for too long, and now we need to wash stuff. I opened my wardrobe. I was like, what shall I wear for the daily today? Gadoosh! There's nothing in here besides my shirt that used to fit me when I was excessively fat. It's my fat shirt. So I'm wearing my fat shirt today. It's comfy as shit, though. Awesome. On with the daily. I'm going to start off straight away with gaming news. Gaming news, because there isn't a lot of it. One thing that did catch my eye on browsing the various sites and stuff that I like to get my gaming news from, Reddit, Rock Paper Shotgun, other sites, was data gamer sites. This is a really interesting article. I'm going to post it in the chat so you guys can read it later. I had never fucking heard... Look at all the hollers. Oh man, I fucking love it. I love it. You guys cheer me up no end, because it's going to be a relatively depressing daily. Aren't you excited? I'm excited. Let's get depressed together. Woo! This article's about data gamer sites preying on the fact that they believe the old stigma, which probably was accurate around about the 1980s. I'm just going to move my mic a bit closer. Around about the 1980s of probably all gamers being real nerds. But of course, we're in a different time. We're in a totally different time. It's just, time has moved on, and this kind of shit just isn't funny anymore. We don't get it. Gamers are now aged upwards of like 50 plus. People have grown with gaming now. Gaming is like the commonplace thing. It's, you know, we game. It's pretty normal. Girls are gaming, men are gaming, kids are gaming, older people are gaming. Get over it. Data gamer sites. I quote you some of the things these data gamer sites are. These are preying on the fact, and they use this, and I quote, that 1/3 of regular gamers are virgins. Do you think that could be because 1/3 of regular gamers are in fact below the age of consent? Statistics, my friends, statistics. You can ask any question you want and get the desired answer. 1/3 of regular gamers are virgins. Yeah, because a lot of them are kids. They're kids, man. They're fucking kids. Jesus Christ. Get over it. Move on with someone else. They quote certain things. What they've done is they've hired some models to do some adverts for this site because the site isn't doing well, shockingly. It's not doing very fucking well at all. Some men think women are high maintenance. They obviously haven't played Diablo 3. You're now comparing women to Diablo 3? Is that what you're telling me? That's what you're telling me? Oh my god. It's fucking awful. Oh... How to impress, and they have videos that promise to instruct how to impress a girl into bed after the first date. I might be a bit old school, but I'm wary of the type of girl who jumps into bed in the first date. I really am. If it's an actual date, who the fuck does dating anymore? That whole system's been eradicated, surely. You kind of get with someone passively. You kind of meet them. I don't know about you, but all the girls I've been with, I've never been like, oh, would you like to go on a date? When the fuck did that ever happen? It never happened to me. It never fucking happened to me. We met through friends, social circles, or people in bars, and they weren't exactly relationship material, you know? People think you go to a bar to get a girl. Yeah, maybe you do, but probably not the girl you're going to spend the rest of your life with. But I'm only judging there because I know a lot of people have met their long-term partners in bars, and that's fine. That's cool. It's just not what happened to me. I met Emma in a bar, but we were working there, slightly different. It wasn't some drunken kiss that fell upon the dance floor and then suddenly we were married the next day. That's not the way it went down. It tends to be friendly circles, just because a bar is involved. When I say meeting in a bar, I mean getting absolutely plastered off cheap vodka and cheap booze, and then falling into bed with somebody, and then your relationship starts from there. If that happened to you, thumbs up. I hope it worked out well. In general, I don't know anybody that ever happened to, really. It was all about meeting people, having a friendly drink, meeting again the next week, meeting again, spending more time with each other, generally becoming friends, and then maybe went on a date or something like that. It was not like, oh, would you like to go on a date? Here's some roses. I don't know where the fuck that 1970s, 1980s sort of tradition came from. But this whole site is so fucking full of this kind of stuff. Fuck off, Ghost. You fucking didn't. You knew Suzanne for a while before that. I know. I was there. You could claim it was all one night stand lovemaking, and your one night of bed prowess, Ghost, drove her into your arms unendingly. But I know the truth. I was there. So yeah, that was just absolutely abominable information. It was blasphemous to me. I just thought this whole thing, like we're going, I don't know, it made me a little sick that they were so generalizing gamers as total mega nerds who can't speak to women. I speak to more women online all the fucking time. I'm not trying to get with anybody, obviously, but it's just not the way it fucking went down. I'm serious. So yeah, rightfully so, the most sexist shit I've ever seen in my entire life, and so judgmental. So have a read of that and just mock that these are what people are trying to get money out of you for. Pretty fucking crazy. There's a few things I wanted to talk about today, but one of them I wanted to speak about was a sort of fear and a panic that came over me over the last couple of days, that I would just essentially have to shut down everything. Oh, I was like, oh shit, it's all hit the fan, it's all gone fucking pear-shaped. And luckily for me, it turned out that YouTube had a hiccup. YouTube, the whole system had a uh-oh, we fucked up. We were about to break 1 million views a month. We were almost there. We were on like 870,000 views a month, something like that. And I was just like, things are going really fucking well. The channel's growing as I'd like to see. We were averaging about an extra 150 subscribers per day. Things was going really well. I don't follow those metrics, that data, every single day, because that would just be a complete waste of my time. More so that YouTube doesn't update regularly. As you can see, there's a reason every video that's new sticks at 301 views, and more recently it sticks again at like an extra point down the line, like 3 hours later it might just appear to be 1,600, something like that, and then it doesn't update again until another 24, sometimes 48 hours. Therefore the metrics are always a little bit wonky. You can look at sites like, if you were, say, to join a company like TGN, if you're just getting into video making, and TGN are a company who will literally partner anybody and everybody. If you get a few views, you will get partnered by TGN. That's how they work. That's how they've grown so big. They grow tremendously. Although you might not get a payout, they certainly do, because all the views add up into one big cluster for them. They do quite well out of it. You might not, unless you're very successful. But that's okay. It's a good business model for them. It works. Not very good for you, but it works. What can you say? It does work. So we were about to break the 1 million views. We were on good target to hit 20,000 subscribers round about the time Mr. Pandaria launches on Tuesday. That was all in the metrics. It was all looking fantastic. And then suddenly when I was uploading a video yesterday, I was talking to Genji, and I hadn't checked the metrics for probably a week and a half. There's a point when you're doing this kind of stuff where you stop checking individual numbers. When I first did my verse video and I saw that first subscriber, I was refreshing the page probably every 5 or 6 minutes just to see if another subscriber had joined the channel. When I got the first one, I was like, wow, I got a subscriber. And the guy was like, hey, I like your stuff. I think the first video I ever made for the YouTube channel was an assassination rogue guide. And it was in 4 parts because YouTube wouldn't let me upload anything longer than 15 minutes. And as you know, I like to go in depth. I was sick of, the only reason I made my first video, the whole reason this all started, is I wanted a guide on something. I forget what it was. I can't remember what I was looking for a guide on. So I went to YouTube like you guys would do, right? And I typed it in, and all I got constantly was people whacking a fucking training dummy and saying, this is your rotation. Having been a long-term player, I knew that wasn't the case. And I was like, this is so fucking awful. And I scoured and I scoured. I could just not find a guide I was looking for. As a player who wanted to be better than the guy whacking a training dummy. As soon as I saw a training dummy, I was like, ugh. Most of the time the guys weren't speaking and they had some text that was like, let's say it was the rogue one. It was like, envenom to 4 or 5 points. Oh no, mutilate till 4 or 5 points. Press envenom. Keep slice and dice up. Keep rupture up. End of guide. It'd be like a 3-minute video or something along those lines of some guy, oh, I did 19k DPS on a training dummy, watch me achieve it. You know, for like 10 seconds, blowing all cooldowns or some shit. I couldn't find the guide I wanted, so I was like, you know what? I've made videos in the past. I made the Way of the Warrior 1 back in the Burning Crusade, like 2 years ago or longer, 3 years ago. And it was overwhelmingly successful. It was. It was still the most successful video I've ever made. Somewhere around 750,000 views now. That I never saw a dime for, looking hilariously. And then, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to make my own videos. And I'm going to do it in the style that I talk to people, which is like, And I love this game, so I'm going to put my enthusiasm into the video and stuff, and maybe make it a bit entertaining. I remember the first video where I sang, because my singing voice is horrendous, right? The first video where I sang, I think it was the Resto Shaman one. I was so happy. I was enjoying it. I loved the game. I was like, yeah, fucking Riptide. I'm going to drop a healing wave on your shoulders. Yeah, bro. And just going on how I generally roll in a dungeon if I'm solo. I just enjoy the shit out of myself. I tend to not be that entertained by the other people. I just entertain the fuck out of myself. And I sat down and I made that video and I was refreshing every few minutes. But there certainly becomes a stage, like you can't ever imagine hitting 1,000 subscribers. You can't ever imagine that happening when you first make a YouTube video. A lot of people start YouTube for making money. I'm going to make a load of money just playing games. And they just do them Let's Plays where they sit and they play and it's like, and now we do this, now we do that. And like, oh, why am I not getting 1 million views, you know? So I didn't expect anything to come of it. It was a hobby, for sure. And then you hit 1,000 subscribers and you're like, 1,000 people are following my stuff? This is insane. And I remember talking to Ghost. I think probably about 500 subscribers was when we did the first web show, which was terrible. We had no audio. We forgot to turn the mic on, which sounds ridiculous, right? It's like a year down the line. I still do it. I still forget to turn the microphone on sometimes. You guys are always commenting on it. And we sat and did a web show for 15 minutes with no audio coming through until like one of our friends joined it and was like, "We can't hear you." I was like, "Oh shit, no way." That's really embarrassing. We were so nervous as well before that web show. I was like, should we start? Should we start? And like we expected as soon as we turned the stream on that like 1,000 people would bombard the channel. Oh my God, it's Preach! They would join the channel, and that obviously didn't happen. I think we had like 3 viewers, maybe 2, something like that. It was pretty cool. But then you hit like 2,000 subscribers, which we were amazed by. We did a tribute video, which is awful, and we released the outtakes for you guys. Then 10,000 subscribers, we had that huge party, and you can't imagine that many people. It's like a stadium full of people. And now we're about to hit 20,000, and everything was looking really peachy. And of course, if you've ever read the plan, the post I put on the Preachgaming website of where we want to be, this was entirely on target. Everything was going really well to the point where we could earn enough to employ Ghost to be here full time. There's like a PC right here, right? I'm looking at it. It's behind the camera and it's off at the moment. I was using it today, but it's like it's waiting, and it's waiting for those sexy fingers to get the hell all over it. And then people like Untrial, who are just mega talented at creating video content, so good with editing and stuff. So everything was looking peachy. Everything was looking cool. We ran into a problem with ad blocker a while ago, with you guys ad blocking me, which sucked. But we made a point of it. We told you guys, if you guys are going to do that, we'll just disappear off the face of the earth. So hopefully that has resolved itself, and we'll find out in the next few days when we get some revenue. But we were on like 870,000 views a month. And then I noticed yesterday I was uploading video, and YouTube said to me, "We do not recognize this file format. Please re-upload it. We will try and process this video." And I was like, what? It was an MP4. All my videos come in MP4 format for the quality level. I was like, what the fuck? And I was talking to Genji on Skype. I was like, Genji, it's saying it doesn't recognize MP4 files. So I started Googling. I was like, before panic stations, like, I'm going to have to change my settings, which is a big deal because it means my quality will suffer. The only way I can get the quality of my videos up to where they are is with MP4 format. So I was like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do? So I start looking around, and then Google, of course, is retarded now. The internet has been around for so long that you get them results that like 2009, 2010, 2000. What fucking use to me is that? Why does Google not sort by date? Ultimately, I found it in advanced settings, sort by posts in the last 2 days. And lo and behold, there's this message saying, it's okay, YouTube's bugging out at the moment majorly. Major bug out. And I was like, I haven't noticed a major bug out. He said, this is one of the bugs. And he said, look at these other bugs that have happened. And then on one of the videos, one of the guys pointed out, I don't know why, but I got unsubscribed from you. That's a problem. There's a problem straight away. And then I checked my metrics, and this was happening. The graph was like this, going all the way up to 870,000 views a month, and then went like that. Like, voomf, to less than 500,000 in the space of 3 days. I was like, holy shit. And then I checked the subscriber count, which hadn't moved at all. And then I checked on some other sites, and my subscriber count had dropped by 350 people. I was like, what the fuck? What did I do? Holy shit, what the hell is going wrong? I expected a dip. Of course I did. With patch 5.04, people are looking for new guides. I haven't done those guides yet. I'm going to do them when changes are finalized, so I'm not wasting your time and mine. We always discuss this, but I was like, I've lost like 400,000 views? What the? This is really bad. This is panic stations, real panic stations. So I kept checking into the details and stuff, and I was really, really worried. Like, that's not enough to live on. That's like bad news, Brown. That's a real bad situation to be in. And I was checking around and stuff, and then, this morning, it just went, whoomph. I suddenly landed with like fucking, I think something like 250,000 views just landed on my channel, and it went back up to like 780,000. It's slowly correcting itself. And I checked through some other videos, and they'd all paused. That's what happened, and I was in real panic mode because I didn't know this had happened. But I've got like 300 videos out there. All of them had paused. Like, oh, this is how many views that video has, and then paused, just like, it's not updating at all. And I was like, does this affect my revenue? Like, do these views not count? What's happening? And then, poof, they've all just like this. Oh, what's so depressing. What a depressing moment. Super depressing, but everything is fine. Everything's cool. Ghosty believes it's because he made racist and sexist jokes on my Twitch account. How are you guys enjoying Ghosty live? If you've not checked this out, what's happening, and it's a brilliant, brilliant thing, is that Ghosty is taking some time on himself. I could embarrass Ghosty. Ghosty was a little bit shy about doing this stuff, but it's going well. And he's building his own separate audience within the community, which is what we wanted to happen, or what I wanted to happen, and Ghosty was a little bit wary of. He thought everybody will tune in to see me, see Ghosty, and be all like, oh, it's this fucking loser. But there's people who Ghosty appeals to. And the more comfortable Ghosty gets with streaming, the more you should check it out, because I'm sure you're going to have some moments of absolute glory with that guy. I've had them. I've had them for many years, which is why we've been best friends for well over a decade. And one of my big dreams is to unleash the ghost. Unleash the inner ghost, because those moments are invaluable. They're gold, baby. That's money. That's green. It's money. It's money, money, money. Because it'll get there. It'll get there. It'll get more comfortable doing it. So I'm looking forward. He generally starts streaming. What we've done is made a little thing, which is I do the daily preach, and he does the midnight ghost, I think he's called it. Super fucking cheesy. The midnight ghost. And essentially, he takes over the stream whenever he feels like it. We're not putting any set details. Streaming isn't something I want to be a major part of the business long term, because if you want to make genuine good revenue from streaming, you have to do it full time. And that's terrible. And it lacks rewatchability. It lacks polish. Streaming lacks polish. I know some people love just watching people play. I'm going to try and include one streaming day a week, essentially, which should be Friday. And we'll move on to Friday shortly, and why my day was even more depressing than thinking the business had just collapsed on its ass overnight, which is really terrible. But Ghosty tends to stream around about 9 PM UK time, 10 PM UK time, until whenever. Like last night he streamed till 6 hours or something crazy. 6 hours? I don't know what he did. Like 6 hours of fucking streaming. And I don't know how he does it, because he wakes up like 4 hours later to go to work all day, which is just baffling to me that he does that. But fair play to him. I can't do it. I'm exhausted by the end of my working day. I'm sure people believe that making YouTube videos is like the godsend of jobs. And it is, in the fact that it's always fun. But it's really hard, especially when you're growing like we are and trying to push forward in all sorts of different angles, which is pretty cool. So the other thing that happened is I'm working on possibly one of the most difficult videos I've ever produced, which is why I haven't produced anything today. Luckily, we had a piece of gold in that Ghost finally got a warglaive last night, and he did this dance, the ghost dance. Yeah, the ghost dance, the dance of the loot monster, as I called it. When I saw that, I was like, that's funny. That's going on the channel. Yeah, I got a warglaive. It's this whole body movement. It's no hips. There's no hips. It's all shoulders and neck. It's like this. It's fucking cool. Go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. It's pretty funny. I thought it was funny anyway. And it's when he actually sees that he got the glaive. He's like, yes! Fucking yes! Yes! Awesome. Awesome stuff. It's what happens behind the camera when someone gets something like that. Like, because it's live streamed, you can see the result, but you might wonder what happens when someone gets a really cool item. That's it. They're doing a little happy dance. Like, yeah, I fucking got it. So that was pretty funny. But I'm working on the most frustrating video I've ever really worked on, and it's the World of Logs video. Something I've been promising for a while, and I want to get it out before Mr. Pandaria, so I'm aiming to have it out tomorrow. so fucking frustrating to make that video interesting and cover all the topics. It's one of the videos I have to script. I try not to script anything, as you can tell by the dailies that run anywhere between 30 an hour and a quarter. I try not to script anything. I like the natural flow of encountering issues, but this isn't a video that I can do that with. There's just so much important points, so many important points to cover that I can't do that way. I had to write them all down and sort of script it out. And when you start scripting it out, it then takes a whole new level in editing, which is a real nightmare to make sure it all marries up and what you're seeing on the screen makes sense to the point. Oh, and there's so much to cover with that whole thing. And I want it to be about 15 minutes long. So hard to do. Really has been working on it all day. It was like, ugh. I was like down about the whole YouTube thing. And then I was making this video and I was like, oh man, I was so like crushingly overwhelmed. And then it got worse. Oh my god, it got worse. Emma came in mid-afternoon. Emma came to talk to me. And she was like, when's Mr. Pandaria coming out? I am in the situation where I forgot dates because I've been thinking about stuff so much. I forgot that 4 days ago? No, over a month ago? I don't know. When was our anniversary? We completely missed our 1 year anniversary. We forgot about it. Nothing happened. No celebration whatsoever. We did say we were moving it to the 24-hour live stream to celebrate that, but it's been and gone. We didn't celebrate it or mark the occasion in any way whatsoever. And then she sat down. She's like, when's Mr. Pandaria coming out? And I was like, the 28th, I think. I think it's like the 28th. I was sure it was the 28th. I was like, it's just over a week away. Over a week away. And she went, oh, okay. And so it's on a Friday? I was like, no, it's not on a Friday. She's like, well, the 28th is a Friday. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. I'm sure it's not on a Friday. It's not because Ghost had to book time off work in order to come. And I was like, let me check again. So I Googled it, and it's the 25th, which is 5 days. And I haven't organised the show. Oh my god. And then it dawned on me how much work Mr. Pandaria is for me. That's a little bit overwhelming. It really is. And it's like, oh. It's kind of like in the queue to get on the scariest roller coaster in the world. I love roller coasters. I've been on most of the big ones in the world. The biggest one I've ever been on is Shikra at Busch Gardens in Florida. I think it's called Shikra or Shikra, something like that, or Shikra, something along those lines. I think it's about 200 and odd feet in the air. Pretty high. But I love roller coasters. But you're in that queue, and even if you love roller coasters, that queue standing below the 250-foot drop or whatever it is really intimidating. Your palms get a little sweaty, and you're acting all cool. You know, you're acting cool. You're with your friends. You know, you're all like, yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But in the back of your mind, you're still thinking, fucking hell, that's a really big drop. And I'm going to fall a long-ass way. And people are screaming, obviously. The whole build-up of going on a big roller coaster is always awesome. People are screaming in pure terror just 20 feet from you. They always have the drop that goes past the queue. And it's kind of like that for me right now, is I'm in the queue to get on the Mr. Pandaria roller coaster, which is just going to be a drop, a huge drop down the fucking rabbit hole, essentially. And what will come out the other end, I don't know. I really don't know. I have plans. I've done well-made plans, but I don't know. So it's going to be a weird time for me and the channel. I've got a feeling I'm probably going to burn out pretty quickly and then take something like a week break. Where I'll just sort of, a staycation as they call it, and just kind of play the game and just relax into my own little world for a while. Probably keep up with the dailies, but that's going to be like 3 or 4 weeks after Mr. Pandaria launches, like the first month after. I'll probably take a week break then. It's kind of what I'm planning in my head before my head explodes from making something around about 80 to 100 videos I'm going to have to pump out to get where I want to be, business-wise. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting time. A big thank you going out to Robert and Virgil. Robert and Virgil are the first people who have manually, of their own back, come to me suggesting that they help out with the channel in some way. These are two ballers who have said, there's a way we can contribute to you. Can we do it? And of course I've said, well, yes. Anything that takes some of the work off me of creating 2 videos a day is I'm all up for. And it's the timestamping. You guys have already seen it. They're timestamping the dailies. And they're going through the dailies and they're putting out the topics that I ramble on about. And they're picking those out and just giving you timestamps. Because some people like the news. Some people like a story. Some people like me ranting about whatever. Some people like the whole thing. And some people like the questions at the end. And they're timestamping it all. So I've also had emails from other people who are suggesting that they want to do it because it was an idea that came up. No need at the moment. Robert and Virgil are working together from across the pond. I think one of them is in Australia. The other one is in Washington, I believe. And they're communicating between each other to sort it out and get a little rotation going and all that kind of good stuff. Little tag team of ballers going on there, and they will, of course, be rewarded in whatever fashion I can give them. But I love that. I love that stuff. It just helps me out, and it adds so much more depth to the channel rather than me uploading the video and then working for the rest of the day on today's video and so on and so forth. I just couldn't sit down for an hour and rewatch the daily. One reason I hate my own voice, but quite frankly, I just don't have an extra hour in my day to sit through the daily. It's just not possible right now. So big thank you to them ballers, a huge brofist out to those guys, and awesome. So if anybody who has ideas like that, just throw them in. I don't know where this channel will lead. I don't know how big we will be in another year's time. How big will the staff be? Remember, there's some big things coming. One of them is The Way of the Warrior 2, which is a big thank you to you guys. There's a couple of other ideas that I have, one of which is I owe people one-on-one tutorials. That's going to come for those who donated to us for the Gamescom trip, which was a massive waste of money, unfortunately. Hardly anybody watched those videos, which is saddening for me, considering the cost we laid out to go to Gamescom. But still, it was nice to see what the benefits of the channel can be in the future on a regular basis. Which was it's a shame financially, but overall it was a good experience, and we really thank you for helping us do that, because it kind of gave an insight to both Untrial and to Emma and to Ghost of where we can be in the future and the things we can be doing. So that, in that respect, long term, it was fantastic. Guild applications and assistance writing them. A lot of you have trouble writing a solid, great application for a guild. That's fine, but I think I can probably help you in that respect and things like that. We're also writing a Machinima series, which is going to follow on from The Way of the Warrior 2. It's going to launch around about summer 2013, as long as everything stays as is. Its title is The Three Brothers, or Three Brothers. Cut the. It's cleaner, to quote the Social Network. Three Brothers, which I think is going to be pretty cool. I think you're going to very much enjoy it. It's going to be a summer series, and that's coming, and that's going to be one of our big projects. And also the Legacy series is going to be starting. The Legacy series, and it's going to kick off with the Rogue. We haven't forgot about the Rogue contribution you guys made, where you were stealthing around for us, and we did all those scenes with about 200 rogues, I think we had for that. That is still in production, but it is a major production, and it's going to cover every single class, and it's the legacy and the history of the Rogue, all things you probably don't know about and all that kind of stuff. So that is coming, and it's going to be some big long-term stuff. That's the big stuff that we try and put Untrial's way. In fact, I'm the only one who slows him down, which is always hilarious. Okay. Oh, my mouth's so dry. Gonna do some messages, and it's puppy class. Anybody who knows Thursday, it's puppy class, so I know it wasn't a very gaming-related daily. Let's talk on the subject. I'm not going to do the questions. I'm going to leave the questions till tomorrow. Friday, the big dailies on the Friday. There won't be a stream tomorrow. I need to do the World of Vlogs video. If I get it done by early afternoon, then I will be streaming, hopefully, Borderlands 2. I'm also going to be streaming... At some point, I'm going to be re-leveling on the Mists of Pandaria beta. I want to take another look at the Jade Forest. So I'm going to be re-leveling. So I'll probably stream that as well. It might be over the weekend sometime before Mists of Pandaria launches. Who are you DPSing against in a raid? This is a topic. There's a couple of topics I want to touch on, which is the big questions I've left you with after each daily. Who are you DPSing against in a raid? There's all sorts of suggestions about who you're DPSing against. You're DPSing against your fellows of the similar role. So if you're melee, you're DPSing against the other melee. Otherwise, what's the point in you being there? If rogues consistently beat you and you're a DK, then they're just going to drop you and bring another rogue, right? If you're ranged, same thing. If mages dominate warlocks, why bring a warlock? Might as well bring more mages. This is the world of homogenization. We don't need a representative of each class anymore. Just doesn't need to happen. That's why 10-man works. Ching! All that kind of stuff. It depends on your perspective of what you want to achieve. What I want to instill in you is that you should be aiming to be the best. And nothing less. You should be aiming always to improve yourself and be the best. I don't want anybody following my channel who is content with being somewhere in the middle. If you want to be content with being somewhere in the middle and just steadily plodding along with your gaming lifestyle, My in-depth guides probably aren't for you, because you can do that without much education whatsoever in terms of the game mechanics and so forth. You don't need to be thinking about all the little intricacies that occur at higher level play. It's very easy to pick up an assassination rogue and spam mutilate, rupture, and envenom. You can watch the training dummy videos for that. You'll do decent DPS. You'll be okay. But I want you guys to be the best. I want my army of ballers, as I see it, to be the fucking guys dominating World of Logs and other sites like that. I want you guys to be all out there. And I want to say, I want a guy to eventually send me a video saying, I got #1 in the world on this boss. I want to say, that's one of our guys. That's one of our ballers. And it's not one of my ballers, it's one of our ballers. We're all part of a big fucking team of people who are trying to be better, trying to be the best. I want you to be the best. So, who are you DPSing against? Simple fact is, you are DPSing against every single person in the world who is in the same level difficulty raid and playing the same role. Nobody else. It doesn't matter what the other DPSers are doing in your raid at all. This is the mentality I think you should be following. We're going to be doing a DPS look at next week, only for a couple of days, because of course Mr. Pandaria launches on Tuesday. We're going to do a little bit of summary on the DPS stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of leveling stuff. I've got a lot of videos to make. Holy shit. It's so overwhelming how much work I've got to do, really. And they've got to be good as well. I could probably fart out like 100 videos of absolute shit, but that's not what I want to do. They want to be good quality videos. So we're going to be looking a little bit at DPSing. A little bit. We're going to finish off the healing stuff. I don't know if it's already finished. I don't know if it was. A lot of people requested healing stuff, but the healing stuff I put out wasn't really... it might have been too sort of in-depth for a lot of what guys were looking for. I imagine a lot of guys were looking for gameplay. But in terms of your DPS, let's get back on subject. DPS is always against everybody of the same spec, not class, the same spec on that boss fight. And it's always the most efficient spec. A lot of people like to cheese World of Logs, and there's various ways of doing this. It becomes an ultimate point, usually around... I can't put a date on it because it depends on difficulty, but let's say 2 to 3 months after a boss is killed by the World First Guild, where any DPS logs of that boss essentially can become useless because people start to cheese them in a variety of different ways. We've talked about various methods of doing this. Hagara is always the big example. Is a lot of guilds, to allow somebody to cheese the DPS, will ignore the Frost Tombs on Heroic and just let the rest of the DPS kill Hagara while one person AoEs down all the Frost Tombs and gets some absurdly high DPS number. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in first kill to about 2 or 3 months down the line. And in that period, that is your go time. That is your period of victory. A lot of people like to think that it's down to essentially just gear. Well, the World First guys have got slightly more gear. That's true. But the intricacies of DPS do allow a margin of error for gear. They do. Unless you're massively under-geared, or you're just similarly geared, and maybe they've got 1 or 2 items more, you're still within a chance to be one of those top guys. You still are well within a chance. I know, I've done it. I got my World First, and I was several items behind the other guys that did it. What you need to be thinking always is how to improve. And at the end of every raid, when your World of Logs is posted, you go and check where you came in the world. And then you check, I'm not even on the list. Well, who's #1? And this is going to come down to this World of Logs video I'm releasing tomorrow, hopefully. Is you go and check who's #1 and why. What happened differently? Well, the fights were of a similar length, but he had 20 more Scourge Strikes than me? How the hell did that happen? Did I really miss 20 Scourge Strikes? He fired off 20 more Death Coils than me? How the hell did that happen? I can't imagine. So he must have had more runic power than me. Well, how do I generate more runic power? Oh, he had 15 less necrotic strikes than me. Or festering strikes, I should say. Huh. I must be doing too many festering strikes. I'm not using my runes correctly. This is all from a DPS perspective, obviously. If it was a fire mage, I could say something along the lines of, his combustion did almost 500,000 more damage than mine. I'm mistiming my combustion. How can I make it better? Oh, I need to do that. These kind of realizations. What you don't do is check your DPS meter and say, lol, I'm at the top of my raid's DPS. Lol, I'm at the bottom of my raid's DPS. Or lol, I'm in the middle of my raid's DPS. It's irrelevant. It really is. If you want to be the best, you will always be somewhere good. You always will be, as a natural reaction of being competitive against everybody else in the world. Your current raid's DPS is almost irrelevant. It really is. Unless you're trying to have a one-on-one competition with somebody. A great moment is if you've got two really good players of the same class and you happen to be one of them. If you're a fire mage and your other fire mage in the raid is awesome as well, then your DPS meter can be a relative point where you can measure your performance. But ultimately it comes down to what's the rest of the world doing. Why is he doing so much more than me? How can I investigate and improve upon myself? I did the same thing. During my Mists of Pandaria beta, I was way behind on the DPS compared to Decor. And I didn't know why. I've spoke about this in the past. And suddenly I realised he was doing a ton more heroic strikes than me on the warrior. Ultimately, it came down to a set bonus, which I didn't have. And there's nothing much I could do about it. But I was content then. I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Nothing much I can do. I'm using all my rage abilities. I can't squeeze out more heroic strikes than that. So what the fuck is going on? And then ultimately it turns out to be that issue. When you're DPSing in a raid, your train of thought needs to be, you're on your own. It's very easy to just look around you and be sort of overwhelmed. DPS Tunnel Vision is a comment that's thrown around a lot by people who don't really understand how a DPS works, unfortunately. You're just tunnel visioning. Tunnel visioning can mean a couple of things. One, you are purely focused on your DPS alone. And you're being incredibly selfish about your DPS. And you're doing things that are causing problems for the raid. That's bad. That's bad. If you're not target switching, if you're not doing the best, if you're cheesing overly on AoE more than you should be, and the raid leader calls for a switch, and you're not bothering to pull off a little bit more extra AoE, that's not baller, it's not cool. That's playing things incorrectly. But that's the kind of thing that will start occurring more and more 2 or 3 months down the line, when the DPS numbers can be very skewed and can be very off-putting. In the first 2-3 months, all the guilds will be focused on doing everything correctly because they don't massively outgear the content yet. But they will start to do so in about 2 or 3 months' time when everybody starts getting max gear. They can afford a lot of slack. However, there are certain aspects of tunnel vision which are good and you need to embrace. Tunnel vision can mean you're ignoring things. Tunnel vision can also mean that you are so focused on your DPS that you're literally blocking out everything else in the raid that does not concern you directly. Surviving abilities, interrupting are all things you need to do if you're assigned to do it. But if you're not assigned to do those things, you don't care about them at all. You're not the backup guy, especially if that costs you a DPS resource. You're not. DPSing is a selfish role in the raid, and rightly so. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do top DPS, people start asking questions. Yeah, well, I was saving stuff to be the backup interrupter. It doesn't matter. They only look at the DPS meter at the end of the day. And if you are only competing against everyone else in the world, your DPS meter will be naturally fine unless your class is broken. It will be fine. Being selfish and slightly abusing mechanics, even if it costs your healers a little bit more mana when you're in a nice state of trying to get top world DPS, is okay. Look at DKs. Do you think any DK worth his salt, and certainly an unholy DK, is running away from abilities that cause magical damage if he can get a good anti-magic shell soak on it and generate a lot more runic power to do a lot more DPS? Today on my warrior, I'll give you a perfect example. I was DPSing looking for raid on my warrior, just to see if there was any couple of items I could pick up before I start leveling my warrior. And I was totally abusing the fact that I could jump into extra things, switch to Berserker stance and get a shitload more rage. I was totally abusing that, but it was fine. It was in the safety confines of the fight, and my DPS was retarded. Especially War Master Blackhorn, I was so far ahead of the DPS, it was ridiculous. It looked like I hadn't reset my meter for a week. It was stupidity. But every time a little bolt landed anywhere near my vicinity, switched to Berserker stance, got hit by it, got a full rage bar, back into normal stance and started doing the DPS. I had like at least 13 or 14 more rage bars than the other warrior. Full rage bars to unload on things. That is exactly what a top world DPSer will do. Safe and selfish. They seem to be hypocritical. Safe and selfish. You want to be safe because a dead DPS is worth nothing. You're not going to get your world first if you're dead. But being selfish is a good thing as well, to an extent. Everything has its boundaries. If your selfishness becomes unsafe and can risk either your death or the raid's death, wipes, big problems further down the line, then that selfishness isn't working. But in order to be a top world DPS, you need to be aggressive. You need to be very aggressive. You need to want to kill that boss. You need to want to maximize every single global cooldown. You need to have the feeling that you are fucking Rambo on the back of that gun in Rambo 4 where you're terminating everything. You need to be aggressive. You need to trust your tanks. I see a lot of DPSers waiting 1 or 2 seconds before they pull while I'm tanking. No, tanking the mobs is my fucking issue. If I lose aggro, that's my fault, not yours. You should be DPSing the same as me. I have threat modifiers. I'm designed to pull aggro off a DPSer, no matter how early they start DPSing while I do the pull. It should be fine. Don't worry about it. Selfish and safe. Safe and selfish. Just remember those things, okay, guys? Remember those things. Okay, ballers. I'm going to puppy class with my friend Ben. It's his last night of puppy class. He's got a test today. I might try and film it for the daily. We wish him well. Anybody who has recently seen Ben, can I pull him on? Emma? Let's see if we can get Ben! Come here. Ben, come here, buddy. Hello, mate. Mwah. Yes, I love you too. Okay, I want you to look at Ben now. Look at Ben, there he is. And then I want you to check the web show called the 26th of May. If you go on my channel, you type the numbers 26 and then space and then the word May. In the first 2 minutes of that video, you will see Ben on the day we've got him. I want you to see how fucking big this guy is now. Go see Mummy. Smartest fucking dog in the world, right? Smartest fucking dog in the world or what? Go see Ben. Go see Mummy. He's off. He's off like a shot. I hope you have a fucking... Yeah, check the video. 26 May. 26 space May on my channel. It's a web show. Part 1, obviously. Part 1 of that video. And it's the day we got him. See the size of it. Me and Emma watched it recently. It's overly cute. It's stupidly cute. Alright, guys. Questions tomorrow. The final sign-off is your Brofists. I'm starting to get a lot of Brofists in for the live stream on Tuesday. The Mr. Pandaria launch stream. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a time when we're starting the show. Make sure you send your Brofist to preachgaming@gmail.com. Send your Brofist. Just a picture of you. Give me a Brofist. We're going to do a big update on the map. I've got about 50 already I need to update on here. But we'll get them all up. Awesome. And remember, Lady Ballers. I'm getting a lot of Lady Ballers sending me their pictures. Awesome. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We have one of the biggest female segments of gaming stuff on YouTube. And I want to keep it that way. We're indifferent. We don't give a fuck. Alright, Ballers. Have a great evening and wish Ben well.